Welcome back to Renew You Life, and if you're new here, welcome. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into, well, a phase of life that gets talked about a lot. It's often misunderstood and sometimes I think unfairly maligned. We're talking about midlife. When you hear that word midlife, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? For so many of us, it's instantly linked to that phrase, midlife crisis.
Right.
It conjures up these images like sudden, really dramatic shifts, like the impulse sports car, maybe a drastic career change, or, an unexpected lifestyle upheaval. And it's often framed with this sort of panic or regret. It's painted as this scramble, like you're trying to recapture something lost, almost a sign of decline. But what if? What if that whole story, that narrative we've all kind of absorbed is just wrong? What if midlife isn't actually a crisis at all? What if it's something, I don't know, profoundly different, something far more potent, more purposeful? Our mission in this deep dive is to explore this really powerful idea that midlife is, in fact, a calling. Yeah, a
Yeah.
calling to truly evolve, to rediscover your deepest purpose, and to deliberately, authentically craft the most exciting next chapter of your life. Let's really unpack this.
It's absolutely true that midlife crisis idea, it's become almost cultural shorthand, hasn't it?
Hmm.
It's a narrative that's so deeply embedded. It almost feels like, well, like it's inevitable. And this often feeds into a much broader societal fear, this suggestion that aging automatically means decline, loss of relevance, or maybe that nagging feeling of missed opportunities.
Mhm.
There's this definite pressure that can settle in as we hit our 40s and 50s. We start questioning things, accomplishments.
Hmm.
Have I done enough? Is time running out?
Yeah, that feeling.
Exactly. And it can lead to feeling stuck, maybe even telling ourselves we're, quote, too old to try something new or take a real risk. But what's really fascinating when you look into it is that this idea of a universal midlife crisis,
Mhm.
it's actually, well, relatively new. The term only came about in 1965. And later research, some big studies actually, have shown that a widespread acute crisis like we imagine, it's really not the norm for most people.
Oh.
Yeah, instead, for many, midlife is actually a period of stability, of well-being, sometimes even increased life satisfaction. So it suggests that what we often label a crisis is more likely a profound transition, a natural time for reevaluation.
That's such a crucial distinction, isn't it? Crisis versus transition,
Yeah.
because that idea of an invisible clock ticking can be just paralyzing. It forces you into this mindset of scarcity, not abundance. So if it is a transition, how can we understand it better? What's its real nature?
Well, if we just shift our perspective a little, this period isn't something to dread. It genuinely can be celebrated. When you look at different psychological ways of thinking about it, midlife often emerges as potentially the most empowering phase of our lives.
Really empowering.
Absolutely. Think about some of the classic ideas in adult development. Midlife is often described as this crucial time for deep introspection and change. Not necessarily crisis, but change. It invites us to become more discerning about what really holds value for us, moving from focusing outward to looking more inward.
Right, less external, more internal.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this isn't just, a feeling people have. It's a recognized pattern in how we develop as adults.
And that leads us so perfectly to this idea that midlife isn't an ending at all. It really is a powerful beginning, not closing a door, but opening a brand new one, an invitation to step into maybe the truest version of yourself, the person you were always meant to become. I kind of see it as this grand shedding, peeling back old layers, reevaluating your deepest goals, and aligning yourself more profoundly with what genuinely matters to you right now, not what mattered 20 years ago. It's about getting really authentic.
Yeah, awakening is a word that comes up so often when people describe midlife. It's quite illuminating. And it's not just a metaphor. Thinkers like Carl Jung talk about individuation, this powerful drive in midlife to integrate parts of ourselves we haven't acknowledged before.
Ah,
So we
okay.
start to shed the weight of what other people expect, those societal shoulds that have maybe shaped us for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The focus naturally shifts away from chasing external achievements, the bigger job title, the nicer car, and towards prioritizing internal fulfillment, living authentically.
That sounds freeing.
It is. And studies in positive psychology back this up too. The pursuit of meaning and purpose becomes way more important for our well-being in midlife, the story of your life. It's far from over. It's just evolving, deepening, unfolding in ways that can be really surprising and exciting. This is truly a calling to embrace your unique journey. And crucially, to use all that wisdom you've gathered over the years
Yeah, the wisdom.
to create a life that's deeply meaningful, not just for yourself, but maybe for others around you too. It's about aligning with your truest desires, your passions, and that deeper sense of purpose that often emerges when you get this clarity.
That idea of an awakening really does resonate because you're right. For so many years, especially when we're younger, we are incredibly focused on the external stuff. Building careers, maybe starting families, ticking off those societal boxes of success. We're busy trying to prove ourselves, accumulate things, achieve by standards set outside of us. But midlife,
Hmm.
it seems to offer this invitation, sometimes gentle, sometimes maybe a bit more insistent, to just slow down, to turn inward, to really sit with ourselves and our experiences.
And that process, that reflection, it's absolutely foundational. It's key. Midlife offers this perfect space, really, to examine your core values. You get to ask those critical questions. Am I really living in line with what I say matters to me?
Tough questions.
They can be, but important ones. Do my daily actions actually reflect my deepest beliefs? This is the perfect time to make adjustments. Small shifts or maybe big pivots, it becomes less about what others expect or what you thought you should want years ago, and much more about asking, okay, what do I truly want now? What genuinely fulfills me today?
Right, the now part is crucial.
Totally. And this period is also just prime time for reinvention. Research suggests that while, maybe our ability to solve brand new problems changes slightly, our accumulated knowledge, experience, wisdom that actually keeps growing, it often peaks in midlife.
So all that experience isn't just history.
Not at all. It's a powerful asset for whatever you want to do next. Midlife is genuinely an ideal time to rediscover passions you might have put on the back burner.
Things you forgot about.
Exactly. Whether it's diving into a completely new career, starting that creative project you always dreamed about, or just picking up a hobby you loved years ago, you are absolutely not too old. Never. In fact, all that wisdom and resilience you've built, it makes you uniquely well equipped to handle new challenges and grow in ways you might not have even imagined before.
That idea, harnessing accumulated wisdom for reinvention right now, that feels so powerful. It's like all those past experiences aren't just memories locked away. They're the actual foundation for whatever comes next.
And speaking of power, one of the most transformative things about midlife, I think, is the freedom it can bring. As you navigate these different stages, there's often this profound liberation that settles in, a freedom from that constant need to meet everyone else's expectations. You know, you start to really understand who you are, what you stand for, what genuinely matters deep down. And that clarity, wow, it brings this immense sense of peace, this quiet, unshakable confidence that just sort of radiates from inside.
Yeah, and this freedom shows up in really interesting ways. Psychologically, it's about the ability to truly let go. Let
Mhm.
go of old narratives, those stories we tell ourselves, or that others told us that just don't fit anymore, don't serve our authentic self.
Shedding those stories. Exactly. Shedding outdated beliefs you might have carried for decades. And stepping wholeheartedly into a future that is uniquely yours. One you actively get to design. This means defining success completely on your own terms.
Not by someone else's rules.
Not by your parents' rules, your peers, not even society's general blueprint. It's shedding the weight of others' opinions. And that can be incredibly liberating. It can significantly reduce stress. When you're no longer chasing external validation because you know your worth from the inside, you're free to fully embrace the beauty of the present moment, confident in the value you bring just by being you. Self-acceptance and a strong sense of purpose studies show these are key indicators of well-being at this stage of life.
That deep sense of knowing your own worth, it really is a game changer. It changes everything. And it brings us to such a beautiful, affirming reminder that midlife offers us all. It is never, ever too late to live fully. It's just never too late to start that new adventure you've been thinking about, or to begin that project that's been stirring in your soul, or even to completely redefine what happiness and success mean to you right now. This time in our lives isn't about shrinking or winding down. Not at all. It's this powerful invitation to embrace change, to stretch ourselves, and to rise into the magnificent fullness of our potential, wherever we happen to find ourselves.
Absolutely. This isn't a time to retreat, pull back, or put life on pause. Instead, it's this vibrant call to leap forward with excitement, with renewed passion, with just boundless possibility. As we step into this dynamic next phase, let's make a conscious choice, a commitment to live with intention every single day.
Living with intention.
Yes, let's shed any lingering fears we might have about growing older and instead fully embrace the incredible richness that comes with time, with wisdom, with all that accumulated experience.
Wow. What an illuminating deep dive this has been today, really. The core message I truly hope you take away from everything we've explored is this. Midlife is not a crisis, okay? It is, without a doubt, a powerful calling. It's an invitation. to embrace our truest selves, to realign with our deepest passions, and to deliberately, joyfully create the life we were always meant to live. It's an undeniable invitation to evolve, to grow, and to step boldly into the future with a real sense of purpose. So let's collectively shift our perspective. Let's stop seeing midlife as some kind of crisis waiting to happen, and instead truly recognize it for what it is, a period of incredible potential, profound transformation, and beautiful renewal. Thank you so much for joining me on Renew You Life today. I really hope this conversation has inspired you to embrace the power and potential of your own midlife journey, to see it as this magnificent time to rise into your calling. If you found value in our deep dive today, please feel free to share it with others who might benefit. And you can connect with our community on all our social media platforms. Just search for Renew You Life. We'd love to have you join us there for more empowering conversations.
And just to leave you with something to reflect on, considering all the experiences and the wisdom you've gathered so far, what is one new possibility you feel truly called to explore or perhaps redefine in your life's next chapter?